Hi guys, so we are going to start with the D part of refraction chapter. Now in this one guys, the main thing what we are going to learn about is about the phenomenon total internal reflection and what do you mean by critical angle, and then the application of total internal reflection. Okay, so let's start. Uh, See, first thing we have learned earlier that when the light ray is going from a denser to rarer medium, it will lead to what? Refraction. So one second, I'll just draw this. So let's say this is the interface out here, and there is a ray of light. I'll also draw normal first. So this is a normal. Also, you remember you should draw the normal with a dotted line. Okay, it's difficult for me to draw a dotted line here, so I'm drawing with a green color line. And say this is the incident ray. So let's say this is the incident ray. So when the light ray is coming from here, okay, and it is going from where? It's going from water to air. It's going from water to air, meaning it's going from where? From a denser medium into a rarer medium. So when the light ray is going from a denser to rarer medium, what will you find? That the light ray will go how? Away from the normal. That is what we have learned. And what is this phenomenon called as? Refraction. Okay. Now, if I increase the angle of incidence further, okay, so instead of like the light ray going from here, if I increase the angle of incidence, so let's say now I have my incident ray is here. This is your incident ray now. So as I keep on increasing the angle of incidence, what will you notice? What will happen to the refracted ray? Your refracted ray will keep going away from the normal, more and more away from the normal. And what will you notice now? That at some point your refracted ray will go how? Along the surface. So you will find that your refracted ray now will go like this. Okay, it will go along the surface. So if this was your incident ray, then this will be your refracted ray. So you can see now the refracted ray is going how? Along the normal, meaning what is the angle that it makes with the normal? It makes an angle of 90 degree, if you've noticed. Okay, I'll mark this angle also in blue color only, so that you realize it's for that particular color of light. So this angle will become what? 90 degree. Now what I'll do is I'll increase the angle of incidence even beyond this now. Okay, let's say now I'm increasing the angle of incidence beyond, meaning the incident ray now is coming from here, say for example. So you can see, make out a difference in the color, right? It's another color, purple. So now this is your incident ray. Now how will the light ray go? Okay, it is already going along the surface. So when you do this, what will you find? That your light ray will reflect back. It will reflect back into the same medium. Notice we have not placed any mirror or something out here. Okay, there are two transparent medium, but it will still reflect back. Got it? So this is what is happening. Now first out here, the first thing which was out here, that was what? Refraction. So the first thing that happened over here is refraction. The second thing, okay, you can see this blue color light, right? Out there, it is what is happening. The light ray is going how? Along the surface. Along the surface. And number 3 is what? Total internal reflection. Now, when will each of them happen? Now, let's discuss first, when will the light ray go along the surface? So, there is one particular angle of incidence. So, first let's say this was your original, the first angle of incidence. Correct? I1, I will name it as. Then you increase the angle of incidence further. When you increase the angle of incidence further, what did you find? That the light ray was going how? Along the surface. So, that angle of incidence for which the light ray goes along the surface, that is called as what? critical angle. Okay, so we write it as IC. So that angle of incidence for which the corresponding angle of refraction is 90 degree is called as what? Angle of critical angle. So light ray goes along the surface only whenever there is a critical angle. So what is critical angle? The critical angle is that angle of incidence in the denser medium for which the angle of refraction is 90 degree in the rarer medium. And now the third angle which was formed out here is this angle. The third angle which was out here, that's called as what? This is say angle of incidence here. Now when will total internal reflection take place? When the angle of incidence becomes more than critical angle. If the incidence is less than critical angle, then refraction will take place. So whether a light will refract or reflect or go along the surface, it all depends upon the comparison of these angles. So it depends upon this. Only on the basis of this you can say whether the light will refract or whether it will reflect. So here instead of writing just IC, I'll say that when the angle of incidence is equal to critical angle, then this is what will happen. Okay, so these are the three different conditions. So the whole of this D part is based on these three conditions only, if you got it. Okay, so I'll repeat once again, there were three different cases we did. Case number 1, case number 2, case number 3. As we are going from case 1 to 2 to 3, we keep on increasing the angle of incidence, and you notice what is the difference in the refracted ray. The refracted ray keeps going away from the normal, then it goes along the surface, and then it will go through reflection. Now when the light ray goes through reflection, remember out here there is no refraction at all. In total internal reflection, in this case there is no reflection, there is no refraction, there is only reflection. So why do they say total? Because 100% of the light rays, okay, that's why they say total. Internal, because you see the light rays are not even going from water to air, they are getting reflected internally. And reflection, because reflection is taking place, that's why it's called as what? Total internal reflection. So whenever there is a total internal reflection, there is no refraction of light. 0% of light is refracted. Everything is getting reflected back. And that's why it's called as total internal reflection, which we also call in short as TIR. Okay, so what is TIR? Total internal reflection. So that short form is for us. Okay, you cannot use that in the exams. And what is this short form for? IC. It is critical angle. Okay, that IC is what? Critical angle. Now so these were the three different conditions for the refraction refraction and reflection. Now guys, next thing, also if you want to find the refractive index out here, okay, let's say if you want to okay, I'll draw another diagram. So say out here we've got this light ray, and this is the interface, and the light is going from, say this is the normal light ray, starts from here, that's your incident ray. And how is it going? It is going along the surface. So when it is going along the surface here, this is how it will go. So what would be the angle of incidence here? So the angle of, what will be the angle of refraction here? It will be 90 degree, right? The angle of refraction here will be equal to 90 degree. Again, let's assume it is going from, say, glass to air. Glass to air means what? It is going from denser to rarer medium. Okay, now this is what your angle of incidence. Now if I ask you what is the refractive index, okay, what is the refractive index of air with respect to glass? So what will be your formula? Sin I upon sin R. So it will become what? It will become sine of critical angle divided by sine of 90 degree, because the angle of refraction is what, 90 degree out here, that's why. So this is when the light ray is going from where, from glass to air. So we'll write sin I upon sin r, g mu a. Now what is sine of 90 degree? So sine of 90 is equal to what, 1, correct? So we can write sine of critical angle, and here if you write g mu a. But if I write this g mu a as a mu g, what will it become? 1 upon sine of critical angle. So this is the formula for the refractive index, fourth formula for the refractive index. And if I want, I can also write this as what, a mu g is equal to cosec of critical angle. Guys, now if you do not want to learn this part, it's okay. I mean, it's not, this derivation is not compulsory. You don't need to learn for your exam. I'm just doing it just for the understanding. So you can, even if you learn only this much, this formula, then also it is enough. Okay. Now, so guys, now, okay, before we proceed further, we just also learn that what are the two conditions which are necessary for total internal reflection. So there are two conditions for TIR. So the first condition is what, the light ray must always go from denser medium to a rarer medium. Now while a light ray should always go from denser to rarer only, the reason is what, let's say this is your incident, this is your surface, that's your normal, okay, this is your incident ray. Now how will your refracted ray go? Let's say it's going from water, okay, let's say it's going from water to air. So how will your refracted ray go? Away from the normal. But if it is going from rarer, okay, if it is going from rarer to denser, if it's going from rarer to denser, will the light ray go away from the normal? No. How will it go? It will go towards the normal. Got it? And because it will go towards the normal, the angle of refraction will never be 90 degree, and it will never lead to what? Total internal reflection. That's why. Got it? So remember, it is compulsory that the light ray must go only from a denser medium to rarer medium. Condition number 2 is that your angle of incidence must be greater than the critical angle. If it is not greater than critical angle, then also TIR will not take place. Okay, so they ask you what are the two conditions, these are the two conditions for TIR. And when you'll read the definition in the textbook, you'll find the definition also is basically, they've just clubbed these two conditions and that's how they made up the definition. Okay, now guys, out here we are just going to learn about few the medium and the critical angles. You do not, the ones which I'm mentioning you right now here, it's better that you by heart them. It will help you in some of the problems and all. So okay, now see what all mediums you need to learn. So first one, let's say the medium here, I'll make the first column medium, second column is the critical angle, and third column is the refractive index. So the first medium is, say, for water. So for water, the critical angle is approximately 49 degree. So it is not exactly 49 degree, it is 48 degree and a few more minutes, 45 minutes, which is rounded off to 49 degree. In exams, they may give you 48 or 49. So whatever data they have given you, you solve it accordingly. If they're not given, then you assume it to be 49 degree. Then the next one is the glass. How will the light rays, if the medium is glass, then the critical angle is lowered. It becomes how much? 42 degree. Okay. Again, it is 41 degree, 48 minutes, rounded off to 42 degree. And one another very popular medium, which often is asked in your exam, is diamond. So in diamond, the critical angle is how much? 25 degree. Again, it's a rounded off value. Now, what are the critical angles? Critical angle for what are the refractive index for water? 1.33. For glass, it's 1.50. For diamond, it's 1.1. 4, sorry, for we are writing the refractive index now. So for diamond the refractive index is 2.41. Okay, so these are the approximate refractive index for this material. Is it clear? If you remember, we had got refractive index as how much earlier in one of the numerical of diamond, we had got 2.4. So if it comes in exams, remember you are not going to make it 2.41. You write it as 2.4 only. Whatever answer you get according to your calculation, you stick to that answer. Okay. Now guys, what are the factors which can affect the refractive index? So there are two factors which can affect the refractive index. They are very simple factors, but usually people do not get it only in the exams. What are the factors affecting critical angle? I think I said wrong earlier. So there are two factors which affect the critical angle. The first factor is that it depends upon the color of the light or the wavelength of the light. So if you know, red color will have more critical angle. Okay, for red color the critical angle will be greater. So basically, if your wavelength will increase, then the critical angle will also increase, directly proportional. And the second factor is the temperature. How does the temperature make a difference now? So see, if you increase the temperature, say you increase the temperature, what will happen to the speed of light in that medium? It will also increase because the medium is going to become rarer, thinner. If the speed will increase, okay, then what will happen? The critical angle will also increase because now the light is going to take more time to bend. That's why. Okay. Guys, next question. Okay, next thing now. So we already done with the conditions also, and okay, they can also ask you about what is the difference between normal reflection and total internal reflection. So you can say normal reflection, we are using a mirror as a reflecting surface. In total internal reflection, there are two transparent medium and the light is passing from denser to rarer, but it will reflect back. Second thing, in total internal reflection, 100% of the light rays are reflected back. Whereas in normal reflection, there is some light getting absorbed. Okay. And the number 3, you can also write that 100% of the light energy is reflected back, but that is very similar to the second point only. Yeah. So I think you write those 2 points only. Okay, guys. Now we'll do few diagrams wherein we'll be using those first 3 conditions of what we did. Now before we start those 3, or before we start the ray diagrams, I'll tell you there are there is one method how to solve this. Now to do all these ray diagrams now, you have to remember this concept of being nice. Okay, NIC. You follow this concept of nice and you will not go wrong. So I'll tell you once again, these diagrams are really tricky. You have to go in a very systematic manner, very disciplined manner to be able to do this. You try to go a little fast and you will make a mistake. See, so first, what do you mean by this NIC? N means what? You must always draw a normal first. Never start solving any diagram without drawing a normal. I stands for what? I stands for what? Finding the angle of incidence. Find the angle of incidence. And C stands for what? Comparing critical angle. Comparing critical angle. So you have to compare with critical angle, whether it is more or it is less or it is greater. Guys, just for your revision, try this. If incidence is more than critical, what will happen? If incidence is equal to critical, what will happen? If incidence is less than critical, then what will happen? You can write down these answers in your notebook and then check. Go back to the video and check how many of them you got them correct. Okay. So I'll repeat once again, you must always follow this concept of nice. Okay. Otherwise, very high chances you may go wrong. That's why. Okay. So keep following this nice. It'll actually help you. So let's start with some of the diagrams now. So basically we are going to do what, we are learning about how will the light ray pass through certain types of a prism. So you're basically studying about mainly two types of prism, 30, 60, 90. Okay, sorry, three types, 30, 60, 90, equilateral prism, and 45, 45, 90. So right now I'm just doing the applications in general. Let's start these applications now. Okay, so first let's say we have got a triangle, say like this. I'll change the color of this ink. Okay, so guys, let's say this is the triangle that we've got here. Now I'll just mark the angles which are given along with it. You're given that this is 90 degree. You're given that this is equal to 30 degree. And this is the first diagram that we are drawing. You are also given that a light ray is falling normally on this surface, and that is making an angle of 90 degree. And this is your incident ray. Now you have to draw further. Guys, now how to draw this further? So for that, what I'll do, whatever the answer I'm doing now, I'm going to use another color ink for it. I'm using a blue color for it so that you don't get confused. So if you've drawn this much, that's your question. Okay, and when you're drawing the same thing in your notebook, try to take another color. Guys, now let's say if I'm drawing, say this is the light ray which is falling, and all this material which I'm doing is all glass only. Now first, what is the critical angle for glass? We know critical angle for glass is equal to 42 degree. So we are going to use this value and complete this drawing. Now let's say this is your prism ABC. So what we are going to do first thing is, let's assume that the light ray, now when the light ray is falling normally on a surface, how does it go? Okay, it will go how? Straight, right? Without any refraction. It will keep going straight only, and there will be no refraction because it is falling normally. We've learned in the A part of the chapter. Now guys, how will this light ray go further is what we need to find out. So first we'll have to calculate what? Find out the angles. So what is the angle out here? 60 degree. Why? Because this will also be 90 degree, and then if you do sum of angles in a triangle is what? 180. So we'll get 60 degree. So what's the angle of incidence? If some of you got the answer 60 degree, then it's wrong. Okay, now comes guys, now it comes the important part. What we are going to do is we are going to follow nice. So what's the first part? You have to draw what? Normal. So first we are going to draw what? A normal out here. So remember, if you forget to draw normal, again it'll get difficult for you to draw the diagram. So I'm first going to draw the normal. So this is the normal. Remember, whenever you're drawing the normal, it should make how many degrees with the surface? 90 degree. So keep your ruler properly. What you can do, let's say for example, if this is the paper, okay, if this is the line, the surface, what you do, you keep your ruler. You have a ruler, right? And this ruler must be having this kind of markings on it. So what you try to do is you try to let that mark coincide with it exactly of the ruler, any one mark, so that you will get a perpendicular automatically. You don't need to use a protractor for it. You're getting it now. Your ruler will have those markings, right? Those calibrations, 5 centimeter, 5.1, 5.2. Let one of them coincide with this surface here, and then you'll be able to draw properly the normal. Now guys, what's the angle of incidence? So this is your angle of incidence, which is how much? 30 degree. So we found the angle of incidence. Now compare with the critical angle. If you compare this critical angle and this angle of incidence, which was 30 degree, what can you say? Your I is less than critical angle. Now what happens when I is less than the critical angle? How will the light ray go? So how will it go? Refraction will take place. And because it is going from denser to rarer, how is it going to go? Away from the normal. Got it? So this is how your light ray is going to go. Remember, you need to mark the arrows in between also, in the prism also and outside the prism also. Is it clear? Done. Okay. Now Okay, let's do now second diagram number 2. In the diagram number 2 again, we are doing something similar. There is just going to be a little change in the diagram now this time. Okay, let's start. So now if you notice, the diagram looks like what? It looks like an isosceles right angle triangle. So let's say this is given as 45 degree. Obviously these also have to be what? 45 degree then. Now the light ray starts from here and say it is falling on the surface. Okay guys, now so let's start drawing this diagram. If you want, you can try on your own first. I mean, you can pause the video, draw it yourself, first try and then check. So see, first when the light ray is falling normally, as we know, it will keep going what? Straight. There will be no refraction at all. Correct? Now again what will we follow guys? We have to follow what? Nice, as I told you earlier. Nice means what? First we are going to draw what? Normal. So let's draw the normal first. Now, so normal will be at what angle? 90 degree to the surface here. So I have drawn it at 90 degree. Then find the angle of incidence. So now let's start finding the angle of incidence. What will be the angle of incidence here? So first we'll mark 90 here. This will be 45. Why? Sum of angles in a triangle. What will be this? Also 45 degree. Now how will the light ray go? Okay, so for that we need to compare. What is the critical angle for glass? 42 degree. What is our angle of incidence? 45 degree. Which is greater? 45. So incidence is more than your critical angle. And that's why what will take place? TIR, case number 3, total internal reflection. How will this light ray go now? So what's going to happen is that this light ray, how will it go? It will go along the surface down. Sorry, it will reflect back. Now here the doubt is what, how can you be so sure that it will go down only like that? Got it? See, it can go slanting also, it can go this way also, but how can I be so sure that it is going to go like this only? Meaning, how will it go? Is that it will be, how can I say that it will go in such a way that it is perpendicular to the base? So look here now. I'll just mark the incident rays first. I've already drawn it like this because I'm sure, I know that it goes like this only, that's why. But I'll show you why it goes like that. Now, how much will be this angle guys? Think about it. How much will be this angle? I want the answer along with the reason. So this angle will be 45 degree. Why will it be 45 degree? Angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. How much is this remaining angle? So our normal makes how many degree with the surface? 90 degree. Out of which you already considered 45 degree. So how much is left now? 45 degree is left. So this will be what remaining? 45 degree out here. Correct? And yeah, so that's how you get this as 90 degree, the other angle. Okay, so remember, you have to show, there is no other working to do. Okay, whatever I'm showing you out here, you don't need to do it in the exams. It is just for our rough work, our understanding. But whatever I've labeled in the diagram, in the triangle, you have to do everything. Okay, all that is important. Fine. Okay guys, we'll do now one more question of similar type, third one. Now in this one, say we've got a, now this time it is not an, okay, so let's say here we've got a triangle and the light ray from here is falling normally on this surface. Now tell me, if it is falling normally on the surface, so this angle is what? 90 degree, right? The angle here will be what? 90 degree. Now the question is, let's say we'll name this prism as ABC. This is your incident ray going. This is again your incident ray without any refraction. What's the angle of incidence at surface AB? So it'll be how many degrees? 0 degrees. Okay. Now we are given that this whole angle, okay, look at this properly now. We are given that this whole angle from here to here, this whole angle is equal to 138 degree. Is it clear? Not 138, I'll take some other number. It's say 132 degree. And you will draw the path of the light ray further. So as I told you, always you will do what? Nice, be nice. So we'll first draw what? Normal. So first we'll draw what? Normal. So these are normal. Okay, I've drawn a freehand now this time. Second thing now, after you draw the normal, let's mark all the angle now. What do you have to find out? Angle of incidence, and this is your angle of incidence. So I need to first find out the angle of incidence here. How to find that? So since I drew a normal, this angle will be how much? 90 degree. And because it is 90 degree, what would be the remaining angle? 132 minus 90. So that is what? 42 degree. Guys, take a minute and understand that how I got 42 degree. Now let's start comparing with critical angle. Critical angle will be, angle of incidence will be equal to critical angle because both are 42. But now what happens when the angle of incidence is equal to critical angle? How will the light ray go further? So what will you notice? How will your light ray go? It will go along the surface. Look here. It's going to go along the surface. Out like this. Got it? So all these ray diagram that we are doing, they come for 3 marks. Very, very important. Okay. Fine. So we are done with this. Then next one. So guys, these are, I have not done all of them. I have just done a few examples with you all. We'll discuss some more in the class also. Okay. Now guys, another thing, as I told you, first now we are learning about the prism. So there are different types of prisms are there basically. Now the first category of prism that we are learning is about, they are called as 45, 90, 45 prism, or whatever, we can simply call it as 45, 45, 90 prism. So let's say you've got a 45, 90, 45. I'm using this order because in the textbook that's how they write 45, 90, 45. These are what? These are all basically right angled isosceles prism. You can make out why right angle 90 degree. Isosceles because two angles are equal. So they are right angle isosceles prism. Now these prisms they are used for 3 different purposes. Okay, what are these prisms used for now? So the first purpose is what? That they are used for deviating a light ray by 90 degree. So these are used for deviating a light ray through 90 degree. The second one is used to deviate a light ray through 180 degree. Okay. And the third one which we are drawing is called as a erecting prism. It means what? However is your image, it will just invert it. So it's called as erecting prism. Or rather, if your image is inverted, it will erect it. That's why they named it as what? Erecting prism. Now, how to draw the diagrams? Now see, the ones which I explained you earlier, you do not need to by heart them. They are application. You have to just remember, and they can ask you anything to draw like that. But the one which I am showing you now, these ones you have to by heart. Because how they're going to ask you, draw a 45, 90, 45 prism which will deviate light ray through 90 degree. Okay. And they'll ask you to draw it. So that's why these ones you'll have to by heart. You have got no other option for it. Okay. Now let's say, so say for example, this is our prism here. So I'm drawing a rough freehand now. It's getting a little tough. Okay. So this is how a 45, 45, 90 prism is. Now when the light ray will fall on this, how will the light ray go? The light ray, when it is falling on this, it will go, say we got a light ray coming from here, it will go normally, it will fall on this prism. So this is a 90 degree. Then we will draw what over here? A normal. What will happen to the light ray? If you remember, it will reflect back. So right now I'm not showing you the whole working, how it happens. I hope you'll remember how it did in the first one. So this is a 45 degree, this is also 45 degree. And if you realize, every angle that I'm marking as a dot here will all be what? 45 degree. So whatever I have drawn is, say, for ray A. Same way, if there is another ray B, even that will go through the same process. Again, everything will remain the same only. Again, there will be a reflection, and then 90 degree everywhere. Okay, is it clear? Now look at the angle by which you have turned the light ray. You have turned the light ray by how many degrees? Notice here, you have turned it by 90 degree. That's why we say we are deviating the light ray by 90 degree. And where do we use this kind of a prism? They are used in prism periscope. Okay, so those periscope, you probably know what periscopes are. So those periscope where we are using prism as a reflecting surface, that's called a prism periscope. Why we use prism periscope? Because it gives you more clearer image. If you do not know why, that's because here what takes place? Total internal reflection. So most of the light rays are going to get reflected back. That's why. Okay, there is one more use that they have given in the textbook, binoculars. So you do not have in your portion how it is used. Okay, you will have to, you just need to remember that these are the uses. That's all. Okay, now guys, about the another prism now for 180 degree. Now here it gets little tougher to draw these prisms, because now here the prism is how, it is kept inverted. This is how your prism is kept. So you can say it is kept on what? On its hypotenuse basically. So that's a 90 degree. So you do not need to actually measure 45 degree in all these prisms, but if you are drawing close to 45 degree, like a more appropriate 45, 45, 90, it will be easier for you. Okay, in this case, in this particular diagrams, 45, 90, 45, if you can, I would advise that you rather draw the exact 45, 90, 45 prism only, so you get more appropriate drawings. Otherwise your drawings will not come properly. Meaning what will happen, if you notice the distance here, like if you look at this distance AB, okay, and then this distance AB, look at mine, I've drawn a rough sketch. You see the distance are not same, but they are supposed to be the same only, because it's a 45, 45, 90 prism. Okay, now in the next one, this is A, say again, I'll name this as A, and so this prism is A, B and C. So those are the surface. Now in this case, what we'll do, let's say there is a light ray which is coming from here. This is your light ray coming from here. What will happen to this light ray? It will reflect back. Again draw normal, it will again reflect back. So this is how your light rays are going. Correct? Again, why reflection? Again the same thing what we have done in a 45, 45, 90 prism. At every point your angle of incidence is getting greater than the angle of reflection. Sorry, your angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, and that's why light ray keeps getting reflected. Now whatever I have drawn here is also applicable for this thing. Look. So this will also reflect here, and again this will also reflect back. So everything is same here also. Again here also these all angles are what? 45 degree. Now let's say if this was your object PQ, then this will be your image P dash Q dash. Now you see by how many degrees have this prism being rotated? These light rays have been rotated, let's say 90 degree here, and then again 90 degree here. You just compare the image PQ and P dash Q dash, you'll realize it is rotated by 180 degree. That's why they say what? 180 degree deviation. Now guys, next thing, where is this prism used now? So these kind of prisms are used in okay guys, sorry, I think I wrote binoculars earlier. That was wrong by mistake. So one sec, I'll just erase this thing. 1 minute, I can't find an eraser here. Yeah, this is wrong. It is not binoculars here. Here it is only periscope. So the binoculars are basically used here. I mean, this is used in binoculars. So these are used in binoculars, or it is also used in certain types of cameras. Guys, and the last one and the most difficult one is the erecting prism. Again, in the erecting prism, the prism is kept on its hypotenuse. It's resting like this on its hypotenuse. So this is what? 90 degree. So that's A, and that's B, and then C out here. Now, where is the object placed? So in this case, object is placed over here like this. Guys, now in this diagram, okay, because I want to draw an erecting prism, what I'll do, I'll change the image. I'll draw an image, what? Inverted image here. And what I'll advise is, in the exam also, you draw 45, 90 prism only. And if possible, in the beginning only, we'll manipulate and draw this. You can draw the incident ray in the beginning, draw the image also in the beginning only, guys. As I'm saying, I have not measured these angles, so my diagram is not going to come correct. Okay. You can refer to the textbook also for a more appropriate diagram. So this is PQ, and let's say then here you have got what? P dash Q dash. So you can see the image is inverted. Now what about the rays? So first, how are the light rays going from here? Look, they are going from rarer to denser. So how will it go? Rarer to denser towards the normal. Even this will bend what? Towards the normal. But here total internal reflection takes place, and the light rays are getting reflected back. So this is how these light rays are going, if you can follow. Will again reflect back from here. So they are going like this, back here, here, and then again back here. Okay, but we can also draw the normal here to show that there was a TIR. You can also draw the normal here also. Clear? So this erecting prism is basically, this is used in slide projectors. So the projector is basically what we use, or your school used to use earlier OHPs. I don't know if you ever seen them, overhead projectors, before all these smart boards and all were not there. So they are used in slide projector, basically to make the image again what? Upside down. Okay, so that's why they use a slide projector. So these are the three uses which you will have to by heart. Very, very important applications. So they can, as I told you, they can ask you this anyhow. Okay, they will tell you draw a diagram for a slide projector, and or they'll tell you draw a diagram for erecting prism, which you use as an erecting prism. Draw a diagram and state its one use. So you need to learn all the three things, like 90 degree diagram and prism periscope, 180 degree diagram and the application. Same for the last one also. Now guys, the last thing is about, so there are more drawings are there that we'll discuss in the class, and okay, then there are some consequences of total internal reflection. So actually in the exams, in the boards, you have to only know the consequence. Okay, they will not ask you for give reason why this consequence happens, but still, in short, whenever all these consequences are happening, these ones which you are talking about, it's happening because of what? Total internal reflection. Okay, now so there are 5 different applications, or that they have shown in your they've given in your textbook. 5 consequences are there. The first one is about a mirage, which you probably did in the 8th standard also. So if you all know what a mirage is what, basically it's the, like, when you see a pool of water in front of you in a hot desert place. Actually, you can also see mirage in Mumbai also in the summer when you're going on a highway, or when you're traveling outside Mumbai, you can see it looks a little wavy in front of the road. So that's because of mirage. Like it will look as if there is a pool of water. Now guys, if you're wondering how water, it's just an illusion. So obviously there is no water. It just appears like that. The second one is an empty test tube placed in water in a beaker. So if you take an empty test tube, put it into a beaker which contains water, then the test tube will start shining. It will appear silvery. Again, that is because of total internal reflection. If there is a crack developed in a glass, okay, if there is a crack in a glass window, or any normal glass also, you will see it becomes a little silvery or shining. That's because when a crack is developed now, air will enter that crack, and because air enters that crack, and now there is a TIR. Okay, they can also ask you about like why do diamonds sparkle, or they can ask you like explain the brilliance of diamond. So how will you explain the brilliance of diamond? So say for example out here, we have got a different okay, I'll just draw, let's say I'm just drawing some random out like a shape. Let's say this is the shape of diamond. Okay, here. Now over here now, what we'll do is, let's say the light ray enters from here. So the light ray is falling right now normally on this surface. So nothing happened. But when it reaches here, if diamond has got a very low critical angle, So what happens, most of the times the angle of incidence is more than critical angle, and diamond is a denser material. So light ray is also going from denser to rarer. So you see both the conditions are satisfied. So what will happen? It will reflect back here. Again there is a normal, again it will reflect back, again normal, again reflect back, again normal, again it will reflect back, and the process keeps on continuing. So you can say something like that as good as that the light is getting trapped out here, and that's how it will keep continuing its direction. Got it? So that's why they can ask you like this same question had come in, I think, Ambani or some other school paper, that why do diamonds sparkle, or they can ask you why, explain the brilliance of diamond. Basically you have to explain why do they shine so much. Okay, so yeah, these are the few give reasons, and one more very important is about an optical fiber. They can ask you about the use of an optical fiber, or how is total internal reflection used in an optical fiber. So see, what they do in an optical fiber is, say out here, I'm just drawing one, like optical fiber is made by how, there are a number of fibers which are put together, and they're very thin strands, as thin as this line what I've drawn. Okay, line, not this whole. I've drawn an enlarged view, like your hair. Basically it is as thin as that. Now what they do, all these optical fibers now, they are covered or coated with a denser material. So what we do is we coat them with a denser material. Okay, so this whole of this outline, we are coating it with a rarer material, because the optical fiber is chosen of a material which is a denser material, and then we coat it with another material which is of a lower density, relatively low optical density, very low density. Now let's say when the light ray is entering from here, what will happen? Because it is going from denser to rarer, incidence is more than critical, it will reflect. Again it will reflect. Again it will reflect. And this process is going to continue. Okay, till what? Till the light ray emerges out of the optical fiber. So what are we doing? Basically we are sending the data signals. You can send the signals over a long distance without losing out the energy. Why are we not losing out energy? Because there is a total internal reflection. That's why you're not going to lose out any energy. Okay, so yeah, done guys. That's all in this chapter. And then there is a lot of application. We'll discuss the application part in our online class only. Okay, done.